So we want sine of theta equal to 0.4. And 0 is less than theta, less than 360. Does that mean my answer is going to be in degrees or radians?
Degrees.
All right. Pay attention to that, please, because on the final exam, when I'm grading these for hours and hours and hours, and I see radians instead of degrees or vice versa all the time, it doesn't help out your grade.
You're not gonna give us full credit like the last time.
Yeah, I might not wink and nod as much. I don't know. I might, since I won't be seeing you anymore, whatever. No, all kidding aside, it would help out your grade a little bit. Now remind me here, my reading. Sine is which coordinate on the unit circle?
Y coordinate.
Y coordinate. So this is really equivalent to y equals 0.4. Okay. So how are we going to solve here? Well, let's see. We've got 2 points. There's 2 angles that meet that criteria. There's one over here, that's theta, but there's another one over here. And if you want, I can give that a different name. We can call it alpha if you'd like. So like that. So far, so good?
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do next?
Is this like where you take like minus pi or plus pi or something like that? Or is it?
We got to do something first.
Fine, theta.
We got to do something first. We got to find what theta is first, at least one of them. So how am I going to find theta?
So the total, no.
Some help?
Inverse sign?
Yeah, inverse sine. So if I take the inverse sine on both sides, so I've got the sine of theta equals 0.4. If I take the inverse sine of the sine of theta and the inverse sine of 0.4, let's see, everything on the left-hand side is going to cancel out, and I get theta equals the inverse sine of 0.4. Okay, that's going to give me this answer here. So it should be something a little bit less than 30 degrees, maybe a lot less than 30 degrees, not sure, we'll find out. What mode should my calculator be in when I do this calculation?
Degrees.
Degrees, yeah, so let's put this in degrees. Parametric, and then in degrees. So the inverse sine of 0.4. Does the inverse sine have anything to do with the cosecant? No. Do not press second sine if you're trying to find anything with the cosecant. So 23.578 degrees. That's great. But that's only one of my answers. So that would be this one right here. Theta equals 23.578. And you can round that to however many digits I ask for.
Like in probably the nearest hundredth like you gave.
Yeah, nearest hundredth would probably be pretty good. But how am I going to find this other angle over here?
Minus pi.
If we were in radians, then you do pi minus this. But in degrees, we'll do what?
180.
So alpha is going to be 180 minus 23.578. Now let me show you how to do that on the graphic calculator in a friendly way. I've already got this number stored in answers, so I can do 180 minus the previous answer. Second answer. Bam. So there you go. So the other one is 156.42. Tell you what though, that was so much fun. We're going to do it again. But let me give you a little twist here. Are we okay with the first one, Marianne?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Any other questions on that one? What if I ask you That same kind of question, except this time it's the cosine of theta equals 0.4. How does that change things?
We gotta go on the x-axis now.
So it changes things because cosine is the x coordinate. So what I'm looking for here is, well, where's the x coordinate equal to 0.4? And there's going to be two places. One of them's going to be up here in the first quadrant. Where's the other one? Where's the other place where they're going to have an x coordinate of 0.4?
Quadrant 4?
Quadrant 4. All the way down here. Okay, so I do the inverse cosine of 0.4 and I get some number, 60 something, 70 something.
66.4218.
How many? 60?
66.4218.
All right. And that's great. That's this first angle here. We'll call that theta. 66.4218. But I also need this other angle all the way around here, and I'll call that alpha again.
You do 360 minus 66?
Yeah. The thing to know is that this little piece here and this little piece here have the same measure. So getting alpha is really going all the way around the unit circle and then backing up by 66.4218, etc. degrees. So you do 360 minus 66.4218, and that's going to be what, 294, 293?
1578.
Etc. You should try another one like that for yourself, maybe down in the third quadrant. What if you had, say, sine of theta equals negative 0.4 or negative 0.3? So then again, you're going to have to do a little thinking. This time, it's going to be a little bit different. So this time, when you do sine inverse of negatives 0.4, it's going to give you negative 23.578. Now you're in trouble. Why are you in trouble?
Is that out of the range?
Yeah, I'm going to want theta between 0 and 360 degrees. So right off the bat, your first answer, you can't use and get full credit yet. So that's negative 23.578. I want the positive angle that's going to start out here and go all the way around. So call that one alpha.
Plus 360.
Yeah, if you add 360 to that, you should be in good shape. So let's take a look here. So the inverse sine, let's see. I'll cheat and go this way. Second, there we go. There we go. I just need to put in negative 0.4 here. There you go. So it gave me a negative number. Okay, that's not a big surprise because sine inverse has a range of negative 90 to 90 or from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So Hamza said add 360. Great. That gives me this answer right here, 336.4218. All right, well, I still need to figure out one more angle. Where's that other angle that's gonna have a sine of negative 0.4?
It's gonna be
In the third quadrant?
In the third quadrant, so that's gonna be here.
Would it be minus 90?
minus 180.
No, it's not gonna be minus 90.
180.
No, it's not gonna be minus 180 either. We're gonna have to think a little bit more to get that one. So basically, I wanna go here, right?
180 plus 23 point,
Yep. I know this much right here, that's my 180. And then I know this little bit is really positive 23.517. So I can do 180 plus 23.5782, et cetera, wasn't it? Or whatever it was, 57, dot, dot, dot. And that's gonna give you your second one. So, and so on.
203.5781.
Et cetera.
So, Professor, for question number 39, you have two sine squared data. I think 2 sine squared or something like that. What is the difference?
Before we get there, are you
sorry.
okay with this one?
Yes.
Okay, there's somebody else with a question ahead of you. Let me do that one and then come back to you. It's all right, it's all right. Hamza,
Yes.
which question?
It was 30. I lost it.
All right, so I guess we'll go on to Myrian's then.
it was question 32 that he asked about.
Was it 32? Okay. Okay, what's your question on 32? Hamza? Taylor reminded us that it was question 32. What you got there?
This, can you do the second one, negative square root, negative 2 square root 3 comma 2?
Okay. So you want to turn this into polar coordinates? Let's start by graphing this. This is going to be X and Y. What quadrants should I draw this in?
Second.
Second quadrant. Nice. Now it's going to be a little bit longer in the X direction than it is tall in the Y direction. So yeah, something like this. Negative 2 square root of 3 and 2. Those are our sides. Where do I draw this line? To the x-axis or to the y-axis?
Yeah.
The x-axis, good. Now Hamza, if I'm going to put this in polar coordinates, what two things do I need?
You define all three also on sides.
We don't necessarily need to find all three sides. Well, actually, we will find the remaining side. I guess what I was thinking is r and theta. That's what you need. Let's start with r, the easier part. R is going to be the square root of x squared plus y squared, which is the square root of negative 2 square roots of 3 squared plus 2 squared. And amazingly, that works out to be 4. So that's cool. All right, so let's put a 4 here. That would also be a 2. Ben, are you a little uncomfortable with that?
No, I did the whole thing in my head from the start.
Okay,
I'm impressed.
all right.
It's 4 and 5 or 6, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's go with that.
Good man. All right, so we know what r is. R is 4. We need to know what theta is. So theta is going to be this here. So you're free to use anything you want. You've got all three sides of this, so you can use any trig function that you want. SOHCAHTOA will work here because this is a right triangle. I guess I'm attracted to this possibility, the 2 and the 4. But the 2 and the 4 is not going to work out perfect. Why not? Well, let's take a look here. What trig function is going to involve the ratio of the 2 and the 4?
Sine.
So sine of theta equals 2/4, or basically sine of theta equals 1/2. Now Ben did this one in his head. And he probably first started out with, oh, well, sine of theta equals 1/2. That's going to be, I guess if this is in degrees, that'd be 30 degrees. Or in radians, it'd be pi/6. But what's wrong with either of these answers?
They're in the first quadrant.
They're in the first quadrant. You need something in the second quadrant. So what angle in the second quadrant has a sine of 1/2?
150?
Yeah. So over here, if that's 30 degrees, and you're at the point square root of 3/2 and 1/2, then you're gonna have a similar angle over in the second quadrant that's also gonna be 30 degrees, or 30 short of 180 is 150. Overall, your answer is going to be 4 and 5 pi/6, or 4 and 150. I think I wanted this one in degrees.
Yeah. That is correct for both of the problems for 32.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Now, the other one, I think was what, -4 and 0?
Yep.
You know, when I give those on the test, I don't know what it seems like to you, but my intention is, here's a freebie. There's two things you need to know when you're asked for R and theta. So let's graph our point. All right, if our point is -4 and 0, if it's on one of these axes, that's a gimme. It really is. So what's the distance for R? Well, you can fill in the formula, or you can just kind of look at this. How far away is this from the origin?
-4.
It's 4. So R equals 4.
It's always a positive number, right?
Yeah, it's always going to be a positive number. What's the rate? What's the angle here?
180 degrees.
180 degrees or pi?
Or
Depends on which one I ask, but that's it. You don't have to do anything fancy for that one. Yes?
Would you accept -4, 0?
That would feel like you're giving me the same answer back that I gave you as the problem. So no, I don't think I would like that one. Yeah. That's kind of cute, -4, 0. I like that, but I'm not sure I'd be really happy about that. I don't. It's one of those ones that I sit and I grind my teeth when I'm like, all right. And those are the ones that slow me down when I'm grading. I'm like, all right, how much pity do I gather? Or, you know, it is right. -4 and 0 is technically right. Here, let me ruin your day for you. R is greater than 0. There you go. All right, so if I put R is greater than 0, then there'd be no choice. It'd have to be one of these. R is greater than 0, and theta is between 0 and 360, or 0 and 2 pi. I see I'm gonna have to rewrite my test and edit a little bit for you, Ben.
I was gonna do 4 and 540.
Yeah. All right, thank you for making my life difficult. Anything else? All right, I think it's a good place to call it a day.